Okay, so we're back where we left off last week. Not quite, because my helper, Robin, she's practicing her guitar tonight, so she's not going to be here. She didn't want to help, she wanted to play guitar. And I have already replaced the belt with a new belt. I haven't shown that, I haven't filmed it. I've replaced enough belts for now on this deck, and later on we can figure out if that bettered the wow and flutter that we struggled with last week. I did have some questions though, mostly related to, can you please explain step by step what you do with a cassette transport? You seem to do it all automatically, you know what you're doing, but a lot of people watching, I go quite fast, so hopefully in this video, and I may even break them up into smaller videos, we're gonna do the adjustment and cleaning of a tape transport after you replaced the belt and cleaned the transport itself, oiled it a little bit and things like that. So the first step I do, and I took the transport out of the deck itself because it's easier to see this way, a little bit zoomed out. The first thing we do is clean the head. Now we have two heads here. This is the erase head and this is the record head. So let's do that. I've got a little bit of isopropane alcohol here. So clean, and you wet a Q-tip and you just clean it until your Q-tip is all dry, all clean. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of dirt coming off, and you just keep doing that until the erase head is completely clean. And I think we're there. Yep, that's clean. I always dry it. You know, iso alcohol evaporates quite fast, so if you wait a few minutes, then it will dry. I like to dry it. So once that is clean, you take another Q-tip, a new one. You take some more of your favorite liquid cleaner, and you do the record and play heads. That's this one. And basically you do the same thing. You know, it's metal, so you don't have to be that careful with it, but you really want all the tape residue off there. It has to be shiny. So you just go over it, check your Q-tip, make sure it's clean, no dirt is coming off, then take the other side, clean that as well. And then check it, you know, a visual check to make sure that the heads are clean. So let's turn around a little bit. Let's see if we can zoom in even more. No, we can't, but maybe if I pull this up and focus on the heads right there, hopefully you can see it's clean. No, I can't. Okay, there we go. You know, this is clean. No weird spots, no nothing. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to clean is the pinch roller. That is this rubber roll that, when in play mode, pushes against the capstan, and the capstan actually determines the speed. If this rubber roll is not clean, if it's shiny or if it's degraded or you know, damaged or anything like that, chances are the tape that is transported across the head here, this head, and then between the capstan and the pinch roller, if the pinch roller is not clean, it will pull the tape to one side and it will start damaging the tape itself. So you really want to make sure this one's clean. Again, what I do is take a cleaning liquid. Now, some decks, if you press play, oh, let me zoom out, and there's my play buttons right here, right? Some decks, they start to play immediately. This one doesn't, because there's a tape detection switch, and the tape detection switches are up here, you know. So there's a few tape detection switches here. The middle one is for detecting metal tapes. Then this one is for detecting whether or not it's a chrome tape. This one is to detect, if you can record on it or not. You know, when you look at the tape, metal tapes have little holes in the middle that corresponds with this switch. Then this switch, this hole corresponds with this switch, I think, or the next one over. Let me have a quick look. Oh, the next one over. This one corresponds with the second switch, which detects if it's chrome. The last switch is here with the lip, whether or not you can record on it. So this switch detects whether or not there is a tape in there. Now if I press play, I hope I got the right switch. Yep, there we go. Now it thinks there's a tape in there, but now you can see here that the roller is running. So what you can do while it is running is take your cleaning and just start cleaning the roller. You know, and keep cleaning until it is immaculate. You know, this may take minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes if it's really dirty, or just no minutes if it's really clean. I think we cleaned this one last week, so it should be pretty clean. And just, you know, keep rubbing it. At some point, and you look at it and you say, oh, that's a big difference, right? So now it's clean. Also, don't forget to clean the capstan. You know, this shiny metal bar, that needs to be clean as well. If there's any tape residue on there, together with the dirty pinch roller, almost guaranteed that at some point it will start eating tapes, because it pulls the tape back or it pushes the tape out. And make sure that it's dry. Otherwise, oh, there's still residue coming off, so it wasn't all that clean. So let's try that again. You know, and take your time. You know, it's like Zen. Be Zen. You know, I took the transport out to film this, but you know, you can do this with the transport still in the deck. It's not as easy, but it can be done. You know, if you've got a cassette deck like this one, it's quite easy just to take the transport out. If you have to transport out anyway, replace the belts. You know, if it's just cleaning heads, you can open the compartment up front. You know, open here and then put your Q-tip here and just clean it. You know, maybe, you know, this switch is here. Maybe you have to put your finger through here to keep the cassette detection switch up. Then you can play. And then you can clean. Okay, so let's have a look. The heads are clean. The roller is clean. think, yeah, that looks pretty good. You know, it's not glassy, it's not dirty. So that's it for the heads cleaning, this head cleaning, pinch roller cleaning, and the capstan cleaning. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the transport back in and we'll take it to the next step. Okay, so the next step, as detailed in the service manual, and I will show a picture of the service manual right here so you can follow along, is adjusting the azimuth. Most service manuals, as you can see, have a little drawing which screw is the azimuth screw. What we're going to need is a 10 kilohertz tape for that. I have a 10 kilohertz tape here. I bought this off of eBay because the difficult thing about adjusting the azimuth and the tape speed especially is finding a good reference tape. So I bought this off of eBay from a seller in Germany. I got a pack of 6 or 7 different tapes and they all come in handy. We're all going to use them here. I will put a link to that seller in the description so you can order them. They're $50, I think. If you feel that $50 is a lot of money and you don't want to spend it, that's fine. Subscribe to my channel, send me a message, and I will make you a tape. You know, one side with 10 kilohertz for adjusting azimuth, the other side with 3 kilohertz for adjusting the speed. Now, the tapes that I will send out are obviously not going to be perfect, but they will do for 90% of the lower end, middle end, and middle higher, no, not high ends, but the middle end decks. So if you want a tape, you know, I'm not going to charge anything. I would like to recoup the posting. Just subscribe to the channel, send me a message, I will make you a tape and send it out to you. That said, let's put in this tape and let's start adjusting the azimuth. As you can see, I put a picture of the scope in the upper channel. Let's rewind this a little bit so we have a little bit space. Adjusting the azimuth is just making sure that the tape runs along the head correctly. And the way that we do this is play back a 10 kilohertz tape and make sure that both of the channels, the 10 kilohertz tone, are faced so they are equal and as high as possible. If you look at my scope screen now, you see that both left and right channel are equal, but if I move the screw, you can see that the signal gets smaller if I move to one side. If I move to the other side, it first gets bigger and then smaller again. And what we want is left and right, the largest signal that we can get. And I think we are there. No, we are not. When I took my screw out, let me just give a smaller screwdriver a little bit more control. It was, there we go. That's it. Now, left and right are in phase, you know, they are overlapping each other and they are both the same height. That is what you use the 10 kilohertz tape for. And that is how you adjust the azimuth. How you recognize the azimuth screw on a 2-deck head. So 2 heads for me means 1 erase head, 1 play head. The play head has a little screw behind the azimuth screw. I don't know if you can see that. it sits right here. So open it up, look which screws has a spring behind it, and the screw with the spring behind it, that is your azimuth screw. Let me check one last time. Yeah, that's still good. So that's how you adjust the azimuth. Now, if you don't have like a 10 kilohertz tape, there is one other thing that you can do, and that is a pre-recorded tape. Get a pre-recorded tape, put it in there, and adjust the head until you hear the maximum amount of high tones both in the left and the right channel. This is going to be tricky because you're going to need a good headphone. You got to be careful, but with a little bit of practice, it can be done. It's not ideal. On the other hand, the software I just showed you, you got to pay for that as well. You got to pay for a tape, either buy it on eBay or I'm willing to send you one. If you got a pre-recorded tape, and you slowly turn the azimuth screw counterclockwise or clockwise, you will hear that the high tones will either increase or decrease, or they will first increase and then decrease. Then you went too far. You know, you got to turn back a little bit, but that's also a way that you can do it. On, you know, boom boxes, on walkmans, on lower end decks, you know, if you're just going to use the one deck or maybe two decks, it's absolutely fine to do it that way. It takes a little bit of practice, but you don't have to invest in software, you don't have to invest in test cassettes, nothing. Just get a good pre-recorded tape, turn the azimuth screw, get it to where you get maximum of high tones in both the left and the right ear, and that's how you do it then. Okay, the next step in our process, as detailed in the service manual, is we're going to do the speed test. For the speed test, you absolutely need a cassette tape with a single tone, either 3000 Hertz or 3150 Hertz. That is recorded on a reference deck. I have found no other good way to adjust the speed on any deck aside from a pre-recorded tape with a single tone with a predetermined tape speed. So let's put this in. I'm gonna put my software on, if I can find that. No. And let's make a screen recording. New screen recording. Records. Okay. Let's put this into the advanced modes. The software I'm using is the NAKT100. You can, if you want, I think it's $25 of Apple Store and other places. So let's turn it on and see what it does. Oh, this has got the wrong frequency. It needs to be on 31. Okay, so as we see right now, let me do that again. Turn it around. Let's see what's going on. Up. My speed here is exactly 3152 Hertz, which is spot on for the test tone that we just put in here. The wow and flutter that you see here is in line with what I expect for this deck. Now, the cassette details that the cassette itself already has a wow and flutter of 0.05%. What we are seeing is 0.070809. So if we retract 0.05, 0.09, we are roughly about 0.04, around that. The manual states if you get below 0.1%, you're good. If you can remember the last time, we had a wow and flutter, way above 0.1%. So this speed is basically good. So I'm not gonna screw around with it, pun intended, too much. But if you look on the back, the motor here has got a little hole. And you push, and it's got a little potentiometer in there. If you push the screwdriver in there, not too hard, and if you turn it, as described in the service manual, you can adjust the speed that way. Again, as said, if you need a 10 kilohertz tape, or if you need a 3 kilohertz tape, subscribe to the channel, send me a message, and I will send you a tape for the cost of the postage. If you're in the US or Australia, it might be cheaper to just look on eBay, see who sells a reference tape with those frequencies. If you're in Europe, or if you're willing to spend, $10 on postage, let me know. I'll be happy to send it out. So that is the speed adjusting. The next step that we see in the service manual is adjusting the playback levels. As you can see, we need to use either one of the two tapes. The tape set that I got from Germany has the 250, which is the second tape in the list. The required instrument is an AC millivolt meter. I can do that on my little multimeter here. The line of measurement is the line out. It is back here, left and right. And what we are looking for is 570 millivolts plus or minus 25 millivolts. So we're going to put this tape in. We're going to press play. And we're going to measure. The lower one is the right. So let's measure that one first. The lower right is 569, and we're looking for 570. 568, 570. I call that close enough. The left channel is 559. That's a little low. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find my little screwdriver. Make sure I have good connection. There are beautiful, beautiful AC voltmeters out there. Which one is left? Which one's right? I just want to show you that it can be done with a normal multimeter. So 557, and we're looking for 570. 59. Come on. Oh, I'm doing the record amp. That's not right. Oops. The left one. 555. And 573, 570. I call that close enough. So now on this tape we know that both the left signal and the right signal are equally loud. using this reference tape. Now, if you have the software that I was talking about, the NAK-100, and you have a reference tape, it is of course much easier to see on the scope setting. You just put in the tape, make sure you know which channel you're looking at, which did we just adjust the playback level left. And you know, if we now start to turn it, you can actually see, you know, which channel is louder or softer. And you just got to make sure that you have one reference channel. In this case, we use the right one. And red on the scope is right. And now they're equally loud. Yeah, so that's just another way that you can do it. Let's take the tape out. And let's go to the next step. The next step in the service manual is basically a frequency check, making sure that the deck we've here is operating on playback from 314 Hertz to 10 kilohertz from the top of my mind. This tape goes to 18 kilohertz, so quite a bit higher. So we put it in, there's nothing to adjust here, this is just a verification check. So I will put it in, I will start recording the scope so you can see what's going on. Put it on scope. Where's my tape recording? There we go, screen recording. Record. Let's make it a little bit bigger so we can see that what's going on. A little bit smaller. There we go. Oh, I see there's a little bit of interference there. This is a very, very low tone. And basically we are just looking to see that the signals keep their same voltage all over the bandwidth. Again, there's nothing to adjust here, it's just a verification. Well, that looks good. Next tone, please. That looks good. Let's see if left and right still good. Yep, those overlap, so that's good. That's all good. No real difference. All the way up to 10 kilohertz, no dip in the middle, no peaks in the high. So yeah, so far so good. Click, turn this off. Okay. So this concludes for now this week. The cleaning of the heads, the cleaning of the pinch rollers, the adjusting the azimuth, adjusting the speed and adjusting the playback levels, verifying the playback levels. I did it all with a set of tapes I bought from eBay from a German seller. I will leave the link in the description below. If you would like me to send you a 3 kilohertz tape on one side, 10 kilohertz tape on the other side, you know, subscribe to the channel, send me a private message and I will get you a tape. There will probably be pre-recorded tapes like this. I get these for like 50 cents from the local thrift store. I will record over them, so you get, you know, a little tape like this one side 3 kilohertz, the other side 10 kilohertz, and at least you have some reference tapes then, and you can do it yourself. Depending on postage, it's a few dollars within Europe, a few euros. I think it's $5 or $10 sending to the US. So if you're in the US or far away from Europe, you might be better off ordering one yourself from eBay. I know there's some sellers that sell them for like 10 bucks with $1 or $2 postage. You know, it works. But I'm happy to help you out. If you know you want one from me, I'll be happy to do that as well. Next week we'll do the recording side, the bias, recording levels and things like that. So let's conclude this video with that. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want a tape, you know, subscribe, send me a message, and thank you very much.